Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, Jan Michael here. Have you ever wanted a Starship Troopers video game? You know, a mix of that over-the-top comedic aspect with bug-slaying action that you and your friends can tackle together? Then good news, because Starship Troopers Extermination released last year to some pretty mediocre reviews. Luckily, Helldivers 2 also came out last year to make up for that disappointment.
The Federation of Super-Earth, keeping managed democracy safe with the lives of our heroes, protecting freedom from tyranny with the gentle touch of an iron fist. But liberty's enemies march ever closer. Together, we must take back control of freedom.
Helldivers 2 is quite an interesting experience. While I can't deny that there are some strong elements that have resonated strongly with the community, I also can't deny that I wasn't a big fan of my personal experience with the title. Yes, I know. First I piss off the Black Myth Wukong community, and now I'm gonna piss off the Helldivers 2 fanbase. I'm in for quite some trouble. But fuck it, here's my review. First and foremost, please know that Helldivers 2 does not hold your hand. I need you to really understand that before you even dive into the game. After a quick introductory sequence where it shows you the mechanics of the game itself, it basically gives you a spaceship and says, go crazy, do whatever you want. And if that sounds awesome, you're gonna have a great time. For those that need a little bit more guidance than that, the early hours of Helldivers 2 is really gonna test your patience. I personally don't care if my hand is held or not, as long as it doesn't take it to one extreme or another. But even I felt like I was wasting my time in the beginning. I don't mean the game was wasting my time, I just felt like I was doing things that maybe I shouldn't have been doing as I tried to find out exactly what my goal was. And in time, I did discover that a lot of the early game is supposed to be spent exploring these different areas, getting used to combat, picking up samples to upgrade your arsenal, and unlocking higher difficulty levels to really bring in the rewards. The game is essentially telling you to build the character the way that you want to build them. It's a blank slate, you're able to unlock anything that you want as long as you get the rewards necessary to do so. And that requires a lot of grinding in the beginning. You may have seen videos of these epic moments of people playing together, fighting off hordes of insects, getting all the materials that they need, getting back to their ship just in time before they're completely overrun by a horde. And you're gonna have those epic moments as well, you just have to build up to them. Since there's so many options for how you can set up your character, a big part of the experience is unlocking what is called stratagems. These are powerful weapons that you use throughout your campaign that you either call down to you or rain down on the enemy by inputting a set combination. As these are on a cooldown, it's important to strategize when to summon one and when to hold off. They also take some time to make their way to you, so planning things accordingly is the name of the game here. You're also able to upgrade your ship to give you boosts during combat, such as shorter cooldown periods for said stratagems, or added effects to your arsenal. On top of this, there are various armors and weapons you can purchase from the store that will give you an advantage in combat. There are also capes, but they don't really do anything apart from look cool, so buy them at your own discretion. Speaking of purchasing things online, this brings me to one of my biggest gripes with the game. The currencies. Yes, currencies, as there are 3 of them. Why are there 3? I don't know, to fuck with you. I'm a huge believer that you should never have more than 1 currency in the game, and doing so opens up the floodgate for potentially fuckery to mess with people. So, luckily, in this instance, none of these currencies are strictly purchase only, where you use real money to buy them. Everything can be collected in game. But if that wasn't the case, if one of these was strictly relegated to you having to open your wallet or was a pain in the ass to collect on the field, I would be more strict with it. Please don't take that to mean that I approve of this. Again, 3 currencies, you don't need 3 fucking currencies. But it doesn't 100% piss me off, so I guess there's that. So what are these currencies, you may be asking? Well, First, you have requisition slips. These are earned by completing objectives or opening containers. They're used for purchasing the aforementioned stratagems. Next, you have medals, which you earn by completing missions, completing major orders, which are objectives given to the community which have a time limit. Or again, you can open up containers. You use these to unlock armors, weapons, and cosmetic items. And lastly, you have super credits, which you can get using real money. Or, say with me now, opening containers. Again, I'm glad that you can at least unlock all of these while playing the game, but still, 3, I just cannot excuse that. So, apart from maybe a slow start and the credits, so far so good, right? Well, there are certain things that I encountered that honestly soured my experience of the game. But before I talk about those, I do want to mention that I'm definitely in the minority here, as the game is incredibly beloved. I'll even give it props that it's still getting a ton of content. There's still war bonds coming out, there's still updates to the game coming out. They're supporting it, so I definitely think they're in it for the long run, especially with how popular it's been. So again, take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt, as it is just tailored to my personal experience. Alright, so what am I bitching about? Well, first, while there are definitely some epic moments to be had, they don't happen as often as I would have liked. In fact, I highly suggest going into the game with friends, because linking up with strangers more often than not doesn't get you the results that you want. So often did I join a session or someone join mine, only for everyone to just fuck off and do whatever they wanted, leading to some very frustrating moments. Also, as I mentioned, I really don't like the early hours of the game. Look, I get what they're doing, but it takes so long to do it, and if you try to jump into a more serious match right away, you're gonna have a bad time. And while I'm griping, why don't they fully stock you up on ammo when you start a match? Wasting time hunting down some or calling in just to refill it every single time you begin a session is fucking annoying. Then there's the meta of it all. For those of you who have seen my Balatro review, you know exactly what I'm about to talk about, but don't expect any sort of epic story here. After the setup, you're essentially fighting a practically never-ending war, and anything that you contribute to this war is very minuscule, which honestly is kind of disheartening. You have these big epic moments, you're on this incredible high, but you're really only tipping the scales ever so slightly, because obviously everybody else is also contributing to the war, and they can't have it end, otherwise, you know, what the fuck's the point? So yeah, this is essentially another game where the reward is to play more of the game, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people out there that love that, and do, but I need something more. I need some finality to my work, and you're just not going to get that, at least not anytime soon. So take that for what it's worth. I will say, however, that I did find the comedy actually pretty amusing. I thought maybe that was only going to be in like the opening cutscene and nothing more, but the things that the characters yell and say in battle actually had me smiling and laughing at points, so kudos to that. Ultimately, this is a war that I'm just not that interested in fighting. As such, I give Helldivers 2 a 3.5 out of 5 with a recommendation to rent it. Now again, you may have a different experience than I did. In fact, I've seen so many people absolutely love their time with it. So yeah, I would definitely say at least give it a try, because you may very well fall into that grouping. But I gotta be honest, to my experience, and at best, it's an alright time with some admittedly very cool moments.
The Helldivers, the galaxy's last line of offense. Pre-order now.
PlayStation.
Man, I swear, every single year there is that one nominee that is beloved and I'm just not a big fan of, and I always feel bad because I get the appeal of it. I get why people like it. It's just not for me. And I mean, I can lie. I can say, hey, there's all this cool stuff, all this awesome things that you're going to enjoy, but if I didn't fully enjoy them in the game, is it right to say, yeah, that's totally gonna be it for everyone? No. So I'm going to speak my truth. There's definitely going to be a set group of people that have my train of thought, so this is really for you. If you love Helldivers 2 or any of the other games that I've not scored perfectly on, that's fantastic. I'm not saying don't enjoy those experiences. I'm very happy you are. It's just not something that I absolutely loved, so take that for what it's worth. And with all that said, we've still got one more game left, so maybe we end things off on a good note? We'll see. We've started going downhill after the first review, so we'll find out what happens. Until then, everybody, like always, please stay safe out there and have a good one.